Hello everyone, this is your girl here, Jaden. Just a very quick video. How are we today? It's another interesting time, I promise. I'm always happy to come back to the channel and speak to you guys. Trust me guys, I'm enjoying every minute of it. Just as a follow-up from my last video, I've had massive feedback, obviously I'm in the car, I came out, I was out and about, and then I thought about my commitment, I thought about my promise to stay connected and make this a routine thing. So I just pulled up and again, no materials, but I promise it's going to be more structured. So just a quick one to add, that people have come back to me to say you can't leave out boys, and that's the truth, and I didn't plan to. I mentioned, I think I remember in the last video, that boys also suffer abuse, sexual abuse. It is not the exclusive of the girl child. I agree with that 100%, and I think like I said, I already alluded to that point, but I just felt I should start off with the girl child. And sincerely, at the time of releasing those videos, I had no idea how much it was topical back home. I had no idea how huge that conversation was back home and had already been happening. So I think everything is just conspiring to make this happen at the right time, and I give God Almighty the whole glory for the platform and the ability. Like I said, when you're passionate about something, you don't need too much preparation. So that's why I can just pull up and begin to say what I'm saying to you now. So abuse happens to everyone that is vulnerable, and the young especially, and this can be any young person, so the elderly is also categorized under vulnerable, the disabled people, mentally, physically, whatever the form of disability. So we have that duty of care. And when I say me, I mean collectively, which is why we are proposing and encouraging everyone to get involved in this conversation. Let's all talk about mental health. Let's all talk about protection of the vulnerable people. Let's all talk about, let's everybody look out. Let's all, we don't need to be paranoid. We don't need to be scared of people. We don't need to ruin damages, because I still believe there are good people out there. I still believe there are uncles that are wonderful. There are nieces, there are aunties that are still very interested in making sure that we support the young generation. But there's no perfect system, and we can never ever get rid of evil. It's just the way it is. There will always be bad people. There will always be people who dream to harm and hurt others. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks about it. This happens everywhere, even in religious organizations, and yes, I think it doesn't what we are trying to say here is let's sensitize people. Let's talk about it. The more we talk about it, the more people are aware, the more people are predisposed to mitigate these risks. To, when you know that I know, and that one knows that this one know, when that cook knows that my oga is aware, the hairdresser knows that this child that has come to run one or two errands, everybody knows, and everybody's looking out for that young person. That adult would be mindful, when that man of God or that woman of God knows that everyone is really passionate about this conversation, about making sure that vulnerable people are safe. I think people will begin to be more mindful of how they relate with them. People would be more conscious of boundaries. People would respect others more. People will become more inclined to do the right thing. So the young boy is also at risk of abuse. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine back then in university called me, I think 2 days ago, and went, he shared his experience. He told me something that sent cold shivers all over me. He said his brother was almost raped at the age of 12 by another relative, and I was like, wow. So that even highlighted the urgency for me in my talking about this now. So let's look out for everyone, every young person. When people are young, they are impressionable. Young people are like sponge. They absorb everything. They take on so much. Give them that space. Talk about things that are weird, in quotes. Talk about things that you would normally not talk about. Use the terminologies. Another person came back to me, a lady from my town who I so much respect. She has always been a fan. I hope she knows who she is. She came back and said, my dearest sister, I am proud of you, but you need to be calling these things by their name. Oh my God, my phone battery is going down when I'm in the car. Guys, I'll just plug this in. Okay, that's my charger. So it's gone back in. We'll continue, but I may have to hold this slightly. So she said to me, my dear, you need to be calling these things by their name. Call them by their names. Don't say carnal knowledge. I mean, by all means, but always use the explanations that people would understand. Tell them about having intimate relationship. Talk about sex if you need to. Talk about touching their breast. Ask them. Get to know them. Ask them about talk about body parts. They would eventually get to know all of this. So rather than feel too shy to raise these topics, pubic hairs, how are you feeling? Are you okay? All parts of you, get involved. I don't need to tell people what to say, but I guess the point we're making here is rather than become shy, we should feel safe to make mistakes with our young people, even if we use the wrong words, even if we come across as timid. But the good thing is we're having that conversation. We're speaking to them about their body parts. We're asking them, is anybody touching your breast? Just say it. Have that conversation. What is your relationship with this uncle? What do you think about this auntie? What do you think about this cousin? And then be not judgmental. The same thing that we were told in the Bible. Do not judge. The same thing should be happening with our young people. Rather than be that want to criticize, to tell them off, to not pay them attention, just call them close and say, tell me, I was once in your shoes. Is anybody walking? And pay attention to their body languages, guys. If an adult comes into a room and a young person gets up and goes away, I'll be thinking, what's going on here? I don't need to say it while the person is there, but I will eventually speak to that young person. If there's a movie on and people are watching and certain scenes pop up and people begin to feel uncomfortable, when that movie is finished, I will be speaking to that child. I will want to know what he thinks. I saw you looking away. Are you telling me you don't know about kissing? Are you saying you don't have any boyfriend? Are you saying, not in a way of like calling them out, but you want to tell them that these things are normal conversation. Bring it on. Let's talk about it. You did it when you were their ages. When they see you're relaxed, oh, mommy can talk about sex. Oh, wow. So it's actually not a taboo. Yes, it's better. Let's talk about it with them and guide them to make the right decisions. Talk about protection. Talk about, relationships. what do you think about this one? I'm not the one to choose your boyfriend for you, but if that's all you can do, if this is all you can do in a choice of whatever, okay, oh, good luck. Laugh about it. I know we can be concerned. You know, I know it can be overwhelming. Some parents don't want to admit that these children are growing up. Oh, my baby. Oh, my. No, they would eventually grow. So rather, especially in this day and age, it happens like this. So rather than shy away from talking about things that would help them make certain decisions, you know, let's just talk about it. And also, I just want to reiterate and emphasize here that you don't need to be a medical practitioner, you don't need to be a psychologist, you don't need to be a psychiatrist, you don't need to be a philosopher to talk about something like sexual abuse. It's about sensitizing everybody. You know, just like somebody can go for a particular training and become qualified in particular, it doesn't mean you cannot pick a book. It doesn't mean you cannot read them. It doesn't mean you cannot listen to the news. This is something that is so prevalent, especially in Africa, you know, where we have very poor judicial system and, you know, a form of deterrence. So let's all talk about market women, traders, taxi drivers. Let everybody talk about it and make everybody uncomfortable, you know. And hopefully we'll come to the point where we will feel like, yes, we're getting there. It will not be 100%. It is never 100%, like I said. But we would have made an impact. We would have made things better. So thank you, everyone. I promise to be very quick with my videos now. I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you again. All the love from me, your girl Jaden. See you soon. Bye now.